Okay. It's Susan, it's 5 after start time. Would you like to proceed or we wait for a few more people?
Let's absolutely proceed.
Okay, all right. So hello Igniters. This is your neighborhood friend, Rachel. And I want to welcome you to this really amazing session on all things LMS, and the aim of this webinar no, not really a webinar, but it's actually a conversation. The goal of it is to really demystify what LMS is all about. And I'm really happy to have and host our guest tonight. And I will be doing a bit of introduction a little bit later on. And perhaps let me just start as to why we have this session. And I think about 2 months ago, we had a session on e-learning, and in it we discussed, what e-learning was. We tried to demystify all our different definitions, and we also tried to see how then e-learning fits into our context. And it turned out to be a really, really great session because, as a result of it, we got so many questions and comments about it, but more so in terms of taking it to the next level and talking about learning management systems, or LMS for short. And we listened and we acted. And so that is why we have this session in which we're going to be talking about learning management systems. And it really at the first level is to get us to understand what exactly an LMS is. We're also hoping to cover, not hoping, we're intending to cover, to give a glimpse of what it should look like, what we should look out for, especially when we are engaging in these conversations of investing in an LMS, and hopefully just get us to that point whereby we are confident to be able to go to the next level in terms of engaging with this technology that, fortunately or unfortunately, because of the pandemic, has forced us to use. Now, as everybody is joining in, please do, feel comfortable, ask the questions, make comments in the chat box. Please do ensure that you have muted your audio. This is actually a conversation, so feel free to switch off your video. However, there will be a presentation in the middle of the conversation, and we will prompt you to pay attention. So for all of those guys who are maybe seated somewhere trying to make a cup of coffee, please be aware that at some point you will need to look at your screen. And so let's get started. Again, my name is Rachel, and I will be your host for this session on all things LMS. So today, I am happy and honored and humbled to host Alpha Bumhira. Is that, or Bumhira? Did I pronounce that correctly?
I think you got it right.
All right, cool. So Alpha, and I want to make a note because I made this mistake. It is not ALPHA, it is ALFA, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay, cool. All right. So Alpha is the co-founder and CEO of ProSpark, and this is a company or an organization that has developed a digital platform that is set to transform learning. And he is a lifelong entrepreneur, an adventurer, a technology enthusiast, and has worked for prominent technology companies globally, some of which are Apple, Rockwell Automation, and even done consultancy for companies like Johnson & Johnson, P&G, and Colgate-Palmolive. He has founded 2 other ventures in e-commerce. So this is, so ProSpark is the third one. And also he is currently serving as an advisor for an e-commerce company. But what I loved about Alpha in our introduction is the fact that he's really, really passionate about learning. And he is really passionate at ensuring that our end users, our consumers of the learning content that we all develop or we all engage in, are actually getting what it is that they need to get out of that content. And as he's going to explain further, is the reason as to why he and his partners co-founded ProSpark. So welcome, Alpha. Welcome to this community, to your this is community of African brothers and sisters, not only by geographical relation, but also by the fact that this is a community that is really passionate about all things learning and development. So you are definitely in the right space. And I want to thank you for coming on board at, I think, 1 o'clock in the morning. Is that correct?
It's almost 12 midnight and 1 o'clock in Manila. So yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us at this late hour. And we hope that you're energized and you'll stay with us for an hour, for the hour that we're going to have you, and you can just help us just describe, demystify, and see how we can implement LMSs in the market. So please introduce yourself. Tell us a bit more about yourself. And what are you doing in Manila, for example?
Well, so first I want to say thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be with you guys as a special day for me. This is possibly my first e-learning talk on the African continent. So you guys just made history. That's a good thing. And I'm just excited to be back with my people, and I'm seeing a lot of beautiful faces on those pictures, and what more to really talk about a space you're passionate about if you're speaking to your fellow African people. So a quick background of myself: I was born in Zimbabwe, and I left Zimbabwe when I was 16 years old. That's a long time ago. And I moved to the United States, where I was based in New York City. I live in New York, I live in San Francisco, I live in Chicago. So I went to school in the US, did my master's, bachelor's in engineering. And I also obtained I also did my MBA at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, where I graduated in 2016. So I've always been that crazy guy who would do crazy things. And after MBA, I moved back to New York City, and I would just, I got sick and tired of the corporate life. I didn't like what I was doing. Because I like to build stuff. I'm a builder. I love to crack ideas and challenge the status quo and do all these different things. So I felt confined being in a corporate setting because I didn't feel like my whole ingenuity or creativity and solving problems that really matter is something I was really doing. Not to say that the companies were bad. I was working for some of the best companies in the world, but I feel like I'm a free man now. I can really solve problems I love to solve, right? So
yeah.
So yeah, I've been in Southeast Asia for almost 3 years. I didn't move to Southeast Asia really. What happened was I was in New York City and I came to see my brother who moved from Jersey to Singapore. And when I got to Singapore, I was like, oh man, this is a beautiful country. And I started backpacking. Then I was like, you know what? Singapore is cool, but it's expensive. Let me go see the real Southeast Asia. And then I went to Bali. And when you go to Bali, I fell in love with the Balinese culture, the people. And then I went to Manila, Philippines. I went to Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi, and I just fell in love with Southeast Asia. I think this is an incredible region. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people, and it's a lot of exciting digital revolution going on across Southeast Asia. If you think about Indonesia itself, it's about 280 million people, a country with more than 20,000 islands across the archipelagos of Southeast Asia. And you think about the Philippines, maybe 110, 120 million people. So these markets have the volume. They're growing fast, and education is something that they really need. So that's a quick overview of who I am and what I'm doing. I think you did a good job of introducing ProSpark. So at least I'll get deeper into that.
All right, great. It sounds like you had your own experience of Eat, Pray, Love. Is that the name of that movie and the book? Yeah,
exactly.
I think the main character also went to Southeast Asia, and actually, I think also went to Bali too.
I know. Stay away from Bali. You might end up breaking your families.
So that will definitely be a conversation on another day. So let's get right into it. The question or the concern or the the mind-boggling thoughts that are going into everybody's mind is just trying to understand, even not even understand, to know what is LMS? What is this learning management system? And that question is definitely coming from the fact that we do appreciate, the pandemic has really forced all organizations, if not most, to adopt some form of e-learning. And I think for everyone who's in this call, in this session today, has been forced to be in that conversation of let's switch to e-learning. And then this LMS word comes in. And I think sometimes we even get confused as what is LMS, So please, just basic description, definition of what an LMS is. And as you give us your answer, please tell us what are those basic features, so that then at least we can say, yeah, this is a system that's different from any of the other systems that we use in L&D.
Absolutely. So I think that's a very good question, Rachel. I can see you have done this many, many times. The last time I saw you was on CNN or BBC. That's good. So, when you think about LMS, right? I mean, LMS is a word that has been existing for quite some time. You'll be surprised in the market. There's things like, the market is shifted to, learning experience platform, learning intelligence platform. So when you think about LMS, people describe that as, a learning management system, right? So what is what is a learning management system? A learning management system is a digital system that allows users to learn anywhere at any time.
Please repeat that again. I think we're taking notes. Some of us are taking notes. So please repeat that description again. A digital?
It's a digital device, or it's a digital platform, right? I'll say a digital platform that enables or allows users to learn anywhere at any time.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Please do. So I think we all got that.
Yeah. So just keep it very high level. You don't have to go much into the IT depth for it, right? So, and then then you start to peel off on a different layer, right? So, what are some of the example of an LMS platform? You see LMS in different organizations, such as schools and also corporates, right? So when you think about a company, what do companies use in LMS? Well, a company uses an LMS because they want to provide a blended learning experience for their employees, right? Some companies, for example, they have in-person training, face-to-face, but also they couple that with online learnings because number one, they need to scale their trainings. Two, we have a lot of millennials in the company. Millennials don't want to sit in a room for 8 hours a day. They get bored, they churn out. So they like the flexibility, right? They like to learn. And also part of that is it's cheaper, right? To scale your trainings through a digital device or digital platform versus to send everybody to Zanzibar for a 5-day training and you have to pay for the hotels and the cars and things like that. So from a high level view, that is what LMS is about.
Okay, I must say that the downside for a lot of our workforce is the fact that it cuts down on the cost of any learning engagement or any learning activity, because we really used to love those opportunities to go to a different country or a different place. Just first of all, you can combine the work and the learning and a little vacation. So there are those who are opposed to it are not fans of it because of those reasons. Okay, cool. So at least a digital platform that will enable users to learn at any time. All right. So what are some of the basic features? And now this question is coming from the fact that when the pandemic hit across the world, I think we all quickly just jumped into Zoom, into Google, and into Teams. And we would just, we thought that by being able to make a presentation on through these digital platforms, then we were actually still learning, or we were teaching.
Very good.
So is that an LMS? And if it's not, what are these features that make it an LMS?
Very
the basic good. Features, yeah.
Very good question. I've been asking this question for too long. Let me break it down into two parts. When you think about Zoom, Hangouts, and Teams, those are not learning management systems. Those are those are peer-to-peer communication platforms. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
what happened was, most importantly, I'll say maybe 85% of companies globally or organizations as a whole were not ready for COVID. Right?
Mm-hmm.
COVID
Yeah.
never gave us a notice like, hey guys, I'm coming in March of 2020, so you need to get ready, buy some stock, have enough sanitizer, and have enough
Mm-hmm.
power at home. So because I'm going to be shutting down your school, I'm going to shut down your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what happened was the platforms like Zoom, I'm sure you saw Zoom grew like more than 1,000, 2,000%, revenue year-to-year growth because
Yeah.
people were jamming to it. So those
Yeah.
platforms became more like a reaction, okay?
Uh-huh.
Reaction to something that's already readily available. I still need to engage with my employees. I still need to see their faces. I still need to present something to them.
Mm-hmm.
But when the market started to stabilize and people started to say, you know what, wait a minute, I still have compliance trainings I have to take every 3 months if I'm a bank. I
Mm.
still have to do some regulatory compliances I have to take, or risk trainings, or customer service trainings, and those things I cannot use Zoom because I cannot upload a course on Zoom. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot create a course on Zoom. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
take an exam on Zoom. I can provide gamification tools on Zoom. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
create content on Zoom. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
enable different content devices like SCORM files, YouTube on Zoom. I can only share
Mm-hmm.
screen, all right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so now what's happening in the market is even companies, organizations, or schools that had desperately jumped onto some of these platforms, now they're realizing, wait a minute, I want to access my training reports for the first 3 months. You cannot log on to
Mm-hmm.
Zoom and get those reports. They don't exist.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
with Zoom, you still need other additional platforms that can hold your content, that you can do assessments. So one company, one organization, one school might have 4 or 5 different platforms,
Mm-hmm.
right? For which
Yeah.
that's a nightmare for the HR directors, that's a nightmare for the L&D director, that's a total nightmare for the school admin, and a total nightmare for a professor teaching. So what
Yeah.
happens is an LMS allows to bring together all the systems in a single one size fits for all kind of a package where you can
Mm-hmm.
have your virtual learnings already there. You have your self-paced learnings. You have different learning journeys. You also have personalized a learning experience for different people in the ecosystem. That is what an LMS is. And Zoom, Teams, and everything else are just peer-to-peer communication platforms. And you can see now the fact that you guys are with me right now. I think there's something short in your journey with Zoom, and I'm sure you're keen to find something better than Zoom.
Oh, for sure, for sure. In fact, I think the best report that you could probably give your boss was really a recording of the conversation or the training that took place, and you are hoping that probably the person who had made the arrangement for the meeting had taken down or did a screenshot of the people. You remember? I'm sure. Do you remember? I think when people used to share about how work from home and remote working and
Yep.
all of these Zoom sessions, and they would always say, "Yeah, we had a meeting," and they'd show a screenshot of all the people who had joined in. So that was the reporting. But what you're
Yep.
saying is that an LMS gives us so much more in terms of not only what kind of content is uploaded, but even creating it, the engagement that will be there, and also the assessment and the reporting. So those are the things we should look for, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
those are just the core fundamentals, but there's so many other features we can talk about as we continue the discussion.
All righty then. Okay, cool. So, are there different LMSs? What like what you've shared with us? Is that what you'd consider basic?
Very,
What would be advanced? What would be more than what you've shared with us in terms of
very good.
LMS features?
Well, I think it comes back to you as an organization, right?
Uh-huh.
What is your training strategy? What are you trying to get out of this LMS you're shopping around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So different organizations, they require different LMS for different use cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
what you see is what makes LMS different, because part of this, you have 2 different types. You have one which is already in-house. Let's say a school or a company decides to build in-house LMS.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I don't know why they're building LMS, because they're not in the
Mm-hmm.
business of it, right? They're supposed to be teaching you how to building LMSs.
Yeah, yeah.
right, and that's an in-house solution that is being driven by whatever IT director or whatever budget constraints, or maybe there's too much money to spend in the school or the company, whatever that is, right? And then you also have more like an external vendor, third-party provider, such as a ProSpark, right? Such as Moodle, such as a Docebo and Upside LMS, some of those players globally, right? And then when you move away from the in-house to our sector where you have the ProSpark, all these different players, you also have Moodle. Or Moodle is more like an open source, right? Free. You download to your server, but it's costly to maintain. You have to have the expertise to understand how to customize that platform, which you never build the back end. It's a headache for the business team, right? It takes time, money consumption, or you also opt for some turnkey solutions like ProSpark, where you as the HR director or the L&D director, you can just open up the platform, you enter your your user login, you access all your employees in one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to do the maintenance. You don't, everything is already SaaS cloud based. So that removes the burden from the administrator or the burden from the company, the burden from the NGO, whoever is using the product. So that's what you see from the top level view. But when you think about some of the interesting things now we're doing, especially, for example, with ProSpark, when you think about what are some of the advanced features you have, right? The future of learning is in gamification. Okay? Gamification is important because it encourages people to want to learn. It encourages people to exchange, also retention of information, right? Badges, point system. It's a motivation factor that allows people to learn in a community. That's the future of learning. The future of learning is what we call social learning, right? These are some of the advanced features where you can also see those, I think, on our ProSpark platform. The social learning involves things like blogs, forums, discussion zones, community, whereby what we are encouraging people is to foster a culture of discussion, a culture of knowledge transfer, a culture of exchanging ideas within different organizations. The biggest challenge you have, for example, in some countries, like for example in Asia, and I'm sure some parts of Africa, is people don't like to share information, right? So what we are trying to foster is a culture whereby we know people are very active on social media, especially in our, in this WhatsApp group I'm also part of, whereby people are providing different insights about HR, providing different insights about human capital, L&D. That's the culture we need to build within the LMS. So the social learning tools within some of the platforms out there also encourage that. Another feature you can also have is you think about virtual learning, right? So think about having let's think about your Zoom self-paced into one size fits for all, let's say within a ProSpark, right? Because now if you look net to net, right, over the past 12 months, virtual learning has actually grown by more than 15% compounded annual growth rate year to year. That has never happened in the history of e-learning, because everybody's adopting virtual learning because that's the future because of COVID, right? So those are some of the things you have. And also, when you think about it on the content side, right? The some of the things that also allows you is for you to actually create your own content within the platform. You can actually create your own song files, right? More like micro learning, right? So when you think about the benefits of a good LMS, is an LMS that allows you to create personalized micro learning journeys for different employees because people learn differently, right? If you're in a room teaching a classroom, you think 1 + 1, everybody knows the answer, or they think the same way. That's not correct. So what we are trying to encourage is people learn differently. They want to take courses whenever they want to take. Maybe it's the middle of the night, during the day, in traffic. We want to give you that flexibility, right? And I think that's more important. The last important feature where you see the future of learning going to is understanding, focusing on learning outcomes, right? We are now past the whole thing saying, oh, people take a course, great, he completed, he got 95%, you get a certificate. A ProSpark already passed that. We are now really understanding your behavior, how you
Yeah.
take your courses, when you take your courses, how you're performing. And what we're also doing is now providing personalized recommendation in terms of your learning path based on your historical. So we're using some AI tools to really customize different users along different learning journeys.
Wow. Wow. I'll be honest with you. I mean, when you started throwing in things like gamification and virtual and AI, yeah, I think you threw some of us off. But I think one of the things that we appreciate is that then, e-learning is now, or rather, let's say learning is now adopting those similar models of engagement, like with obviously with social media. We are together virtually, and so then it's up to us to then figure out how we translate that into the learning pathways or into the learning experiences that we give our workforce or even our students, and that is what then the LMS is supposed to do. So I think what you've told us is that at the very basic level, have a system that is you're able to at least upload some content, get some reporting, and do some assessments. But the Rolls Royce of it is that take it to that level whereby there's high level engagement, the social aspect of learning is still embedded in it, and then we're taking advantages of all these cool tech tools that are out there. Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
And let me just add something interesting you just mentioned, Rachel, just to piggyback what you just said. Social media has completely revolutionized the way we engage and the way we relate to each other. What we also see in the whole e-learning LMS space is the future of learning also is going to be driven by text messaging. So think about this, whereby you as a learner, you have, let's say, ProSpark platform on a day-to-day, and possibly on every day you get like 4 or 5 different modules delivered to your WhatsApp, specifically an API, and say, Alpha, you work in finance, maybe every day we'll remind you what is the cash flow model, how to do a DCF, how to do basic accounting. And also, why that's important is because it's this. If you're a CFO of a company, right, you have those quarterly earnings to your investors, to your shareholders, to your employees. I don't think as a CFO of a company, you need to learn about inventory control, first in, first before quarterly earning, right? So, so what LMS does is it gives you the flexibility to learn what you need to know at that point. Enough craziness of loading your employees with everything they need to know for the whole year. Guess what? Retention rate for that information is less than maybe 30 minutes of information. They don't even care. They don't even information. So focus on thinking of how you can provide information of what people need to know maybe within the next 2 days or the next week, and then allow them to build their capacity and competencies as they grow.
Oh, that's great. It's kind of like you remind me of the days of college, whereby I was also in healthcare initially, and I would sit in a math class because I had to do it, and I'm thinking, why do I have to do calculus? All I needed to know was what I needed to know at that particular time. And so what you're saying is that also in terms of even the way the workforce is evolving, whereby now we are focused on skills, not necessarily how many courses you've took in the university, but also what somebody can do at that particular time, then having a really robust LMS, a robust LMS will allow you to push the necessary content to drive competency and to drive skill. And then of course just personalize it, because as you said, we are all different, right?
Absolutely.
That is good. So guys, I had a chance to actually peruse the ProSpark platform, and as I was telling Alpha, it is. I felt, and I know you have a presentation that you'd like to share with us, so you can even just get ready to do that. But as I was telling Alpha earlier on, I felt like I had entered my dream car and it fitted me well.
That's a lot of pressure.
and it felt me. And guys, I have not been paid. This is not paid advertising. I am telling you, this is just, it's actually, to be honest with you, it's one of those platforms that I truly appreciated, that, the stuff that you're telling us, the ability to create content, the ability. It was also quite easy to navigate. That's just the basic stuff. I felt that, but I don't want people to take my word for it. So perhaps then you could just go ahead and project your screen and yeah, and let's see what ProSpark is all about. And as you're doing that, guys, please make sure that you're continuing to post your comments and your questions, because after these presentations, we will take a look at them and see what is being sparked amongst us, right?
Very good.
So whenever,
can you see my screen?
yes, I can see your screen.
So quickly, I had to cut down this deck. I didn't want it to bore you guys with decks. I don't like decks anyway. I like to get to the point. So quickly, what I would do is I'll just quickly walk you through quickly in the quick, as fast as we can, the overview of what is ProSpark and what ProSpark is about. When you think about what is ProSpark, right? ProSpark stands for Professional Spark. This is the name I took maybe 3 hours to come up with, and I'm happy it's catching fire. So it's kind of cool. So we are in the business of transforming learning. We believe that people should not be forced to learn. We want to make learning fun. We want to make learning easy. And most importantly, we want to provide access. So that's what ProSpark Vision and Foundation is all about. Okay. So I'll just quickly go through. So I don't have to go much into this. You all know what's happening in the L&D ecosystem, right? I think companies are now asking why, when, and how in regards in terms of how you can get to your employees. What are some of the investment you need to do to really empower your employees, learning processes, right? I think there's been a lot of shift in terms of some form of an online presence. Whether you call it Zoom or whatever, I think every organization, school, NGO, company, they had to use some form of these online platforms to engage their employees. I think that's good for the LMS industry, because now the market is being educated, or more importantly, the market is being forced to change. Okay, so this is just more about the engagement, right? I think when you think about employees, they say 94% of the employees say that they will stay at a company if their bosses are investing in the L&D. I think that your biggest nightmare nowadays from HR L&D is how do you empower your millennials? Because the millennials, if they don't feel like you're being treated well and they're being empowered in learning new skills, they'll leave. They'll go somewhere else, all right? So I think it's all about how can you empower your company, your teammates, your organization, your users, to make sure that they're getting the skills they really need, okay? So what are some of the challenges different organizations are facing right now, right? When you think about the organization, you have organizations that have never used LMS before, right? Or organizations that have used some form of an LMS, or organizations that are mature LMS users, right? You have companies that are saying, wait a minute, internal trainings right now, I have one size fits for all. If I send people in a classroom, they're sitting in a classroom, I don't even know what they've learned. They're sitting in a Zoom, I have no clue who's paying attention. I have no way of tracking it, what they're doing, right? Same thing on the platforms. LMS, which is good, is an LMS that also provide enhancement, some form of a flexibility of customization to meet different organization requirements. A bank is going to be different from a retail. If retail is going to be different from a food and beverage client, they're going to be different from a manufacturing client, because the use cases are different, the requirements cases are different, security requirements are different, and things like that, right? And also integration. I think when you see nowadays is companies are not just only looking for an LMS, but they need a platform they can integrate with LinkedIn Learning, with Go1, ProSpark Content Marketplace, and things like that. So sometimes that's where you start to see those in-house platforms having challenges. And also scaling. I have, for example, I'll give you a good example, guys. Think about Kenya, beautiful country, big population. Think about Indonesia. Indonesia has 275 million people across 22,000 islands of the archipelagos of Indonesia. That's a lot of people. Can you train, if you're a bank, you're in different locations in maybe 25 islands, you have to fly retro from each different island is difficult. It's costly, it's expensive. It's just, there's no way you can scale your trainings, right? So that's why this all LMS conversation is coming in. And also customized learning, personalization, focusing on learning outcomes and engagement. At the end of the day, it's all about the user. If the user is engaged, people learn, they return, they become better employees, they can take the skills and apply into their productivity on a day-to-day basis. Adoption, adoption, adoption. This is the killer. You can have a platform that's nice looking, but if people hate it, they don't want to use it, your adoption numbers are a nightmare. It's a bad investment for your company. So make sure adoption is your focus, and the ones who drive adoption are the users. Listen to their feedback, listen to what they're looking for, provide them free trials, and get some data from that, okay? So who we are here in Singapore. We're a Singaporean company focusing, like I said, what people say, what is ProSpark? ProSpark is a learning platform that trains, reskill, and upskill the workforce. That's what we're doing, as simple as that. Where we are, we're in Singapore. Indonesia is our biggest market, and also the Philippines. But now we have also started to enter the, Kenya, and also we're also exploring in Nigeria. So those are our 2 African market entry points. Okay. So why do people like ProSpark? They say ProSpark is great because it's reducing L&D cost. I think we talked about this, Rachel. Gamification. I'll repeat again. Gamification, gamification, gamification. Very, very important part of the element of the future of learning, and also what's driving adoption. And also reporting, right? So you guys need to know centralization of reports, any data that's out there. Self-paced, people want to learn anywhere, anytime. We talked about this. They want to learn in traffic, they want to learn at the airport. We provide that flexibility. And also, ProSpark is available on the web, mobile, Android, iOS. You can download our product and you can try it. We are happy to give you a free trial. And also full suite. ProSpark provide you the LMS and also a content marketplace with thousands of different content on different topics across the board. We are partnering with some content players in the US and also Southeast Asia, and also now in Africa. Okay, so let's just quickly go through what we call, why we're different, right? At ProSpark, we follow, I call it the ProSpark way. I used to work for Apple, so in Cupertino, California, they always say, like the Apple way. So at ProSpark, the ProSpark way, we believe we are very learner-centric. At the end of the day, it's about the user. As a CEO of my company, I challenge my employees every day to talk to our customers. Think about what your users are thinking. Why do the L&D team spending sleepless nights? What makes them happy? What keeps them motivated? That's what the solution we need to develop and incorporate on every day. Data. I'm a data guy. I believe in data. We are tracking enough data to give you insights about your employees. And also product flexibility. We believe that a product that's enhanced and that can scale is the right solution for different users. Okay. So these are some of the key features. Quick overview. We are providing blended learning experience, gamification, test surveys, individual learning journeys, interactive learning, virtual learning, multiple language options, online certifications, real-time reports, technical support. This is just a little bit of the bread and butter, but with so many other features which we're providing, you can see them if you try our product, okay? And here's a portfolio for our products we have. This is the ProSpark for Enterprise. If you're a bank or those big corporations, this is the product you're going to be using, right? And also we have ProSpark for external ecosystem. So think about if you're like a Jumia, an e-commerce company, you need to train your merchants. If you're a Gojek, one of the biggest ride-sharing services in Southeast Asia, that is most likely the Uber of Southeast Asian Grab. You'll be using this because you want to train your drivers, you want to train your external partners, you want to train your customers. You can use ProSpark for external ecosystem, okay? We also have ProSpark for SMEs. If you're a startup, small, medium enterprises, I know in Kenya, in Africa, those are the foundation of our GDP. They drive the economy, they drive our productivity. We also have a product that's geared towards SMEs, right? Another thing which we skipped there, we also have a ProSpark for education. We have a learning management system, which we are pushing for vocational training centers and schools. But of course, our main bread and butter is on the B2B side, but we are also now expanding our portfolio of products into education sector. Who are some of the biggest clients we have? We are working with more than 30 clients right now. Most of our clients are in Southeast Asia. Our biggest client is Gojek. Gojek is the Uber of Southeast Asia. We are supporting about a million merchants in our ecosystem. We have banks, we have retail clients, we have insurance clients, we have training companies as clients, we have HRS companies integrating with us. We have a variety of different clients from different sectors. I think in the Philippines, we have energy clients, multi-finance, remittances, anything that's doing with empowering the ecosystem of learning, we're providing that. Who are some of our partners? We are lucky and honored to be partnering with PwC. They have ProSpark is one of their solutions provider, and they recommend us to some of their clients. So we're happy to have the big stamp of approval from PwC. We also partner with EY's now Go one of the content players in the world. So yeah, anything that requires a one-stop shop, LMS and content and consulting work, we are also working with the right players in the market. Okay, this is just a success story. We are proud to be part of the Gojek ecosystem. This is our biggest market validation in Southeast Asia. Everybody talks about ProSpark because of this big client. It's like winning Uber as a client. So we're happy of getting that big market validation in Asia. Banks, of course, Bank Sampurna, one of the big mid-sized banks here in Indonesia. They're also using our product. We also have telecommunication client, Prasetya, one of the biggest cell phone towers developer in Southeast Asia using our product. So that's pretty much it. So this kind of gives you exactly what is ProSpark, who we are, what are we doing, and why am I stuck in Southeast Asia? Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alpha. So did I hear you say that you will give us a free trial so that we can get to experience the platform?
Absolutely.
All righty then.
So, anyone who anyone who would like to try our product, we are happy to to share with you a free trial. You can see our product, you can see it, and things like that.
Oh, that is great. So I think, Susan, I think we can agree that for everyone who has joined this session, we should definitely share, their emails or at least their emails with Alpha, and then they can get at least that free trial. Because guys, I really want to encourage you to actually take advantage of that opportunity, because then you will get to see how an LMS is structured. It's a really, really easy system to use, at least based from my experience, and it's also very easy to navigate. And you'll get to see some of the features that Alpha was talking about. Those basic features, so that then at least when you experience it, and should you go ahead and use ProSpark, or for whatever reason you have to look for an alternative solution, at least you have a benchmark, and at least you have what are the things that you should look out for, right? So thank you so much for that, Alpha. We really appreciate it. So let's get to the. Go ahead.
Go 1 minute and just show them the admin dashboard, what it looked like, only for 1 minute.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah, let us try and describe this black stone with pointy fingers, as I call it, right?
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Go
All
ahead.
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ProSpark. This is my baby. I love my product. We have spent hours and days and weeks and months building this. So we are happy that we have a product that's scaling and moving in the market. So let's say this is a demo platform. So when you request a demo for us, we give you this platform, you play with it, do whatever you want to do with it for you to try this, right? So let me log in as an admin. Okay, and let's see. All right, don't disappoint me.
So clearly you're not the auto password guys, right? You actually type in your own passwords. That's good.
All right, so welcome to ProSpark. This is our product. So if you're, let's say, the HR, the L&D director, the training coordinator, the head of learning, whatever in the HR, this is the admin dashboard, right? So you can see your number of users, your total courses, and you see your leadership board. Remember, we talked about the gamification, right? Different point system. Who are your best learners? What badges do you have? You can see your courses. You can see your webinar schedule. You can see different company announcements, right? As you see here, and you can actually read and go back into the platform. And you can also see different login data based on when people are taking courses and things like that. This is very important, because you as an admin, you need to know when most of your people are logging in. Are they logging in on a Monday? Are they logging in on a Tuesday? right? So for you to schedule your courses, now you have some data driven. Don't schedule courses on Saturday. No one is going to take a course on Saturday. People are home with their families. So we show you some good data there, right? You can also see, for example, this is administrator learner. Let me show you what the courses look like. Let's say you want to, this is a course dashboard. Okay. Let's say you created courses. It comes, all your courses you create, this is your courses right here, right? Keeping customer happy. And then you can just click this and then you can actually edit your course. So this is like your course editor, right? You can say it's a mandatory course, is it certificates and things like that. So this kind of shows you where you do your content course creation, and you can put your different sections, you can upload a different file and things like that. So one more thing, I'll show you our reporting system, all right? So let's say you are the admin, I want to see what my company is doing, what my organization, my school. So this is our reporting system. You can see all your employees and say, okay, Grab International Hyundai, they have not started a course in progress. You can download this data. You can fill the data by different courses, right? You can see this one hasn't anybody started. You can go to selling, you have all this data you're seeing across the board, right? And the data is being pulled out onto this. And also you can go to different assessments, which person at Bell took the course, he passed, he scored the score. So you have all this data centralized to your own consumption. So this is a high level view of what the ProSpark admin dashboard look like. Of course, there's a user login. We can leave that for another day.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Quick question on that. Is it possible to customize your platform depending on an organization strategy?
Absolutely.
Or it is? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So some
that's why I showed you we have different sets of customers. We have banking customers, manufacturing, retail, energy, all different sectors. Absolutely. Different companies have different training processes, and they also have different requirements. So what we do is we also listen to their requirements and providing some of the extra enhancements they need. But what we are seeing now is we believe that our product is already overbuilt. What most customers are looking for, we already have those things already, right? Of course, when you go to some, the customization will kill you, but our product is already good to go. If a customer needs some few enhancement, we can work with them, for either for free or for a small fee for the extra work we have to do. But we believe that the product, whatever it is right now, is good.
Oh, great. That is good. So I know we are almost running out of time, and I definitely want to take a look at some of the maybe questions and comments that have come in from the chat. And pretty much it sounds like everyone is, is agreeing with what we've discussed today. And even the question that was put out by Martin about, what goal, just like learning has gold class, silver, and bronze class, does the same apply to LMS? And you covered that at the beginning, where you were telling us what would be basic and what would be, so to speak, the Rolls Royce of an LMS. Yep. And there's a question here from Lucy that says, how does outsourcing LMS and companies create micro learning platforms, protect company data by the LMS providers? So it sounds like a lot of data protection. Maybe you could make a comment on that, please.
Yes, Lucy, that's a very good question. So typically at ProSpark for us, one of our the biggest asset for our customers and our biggest promise is data privacy and security is our key priority at ProSpark. We invest a lot of assets and resources to make sure that all our customers' data is protected and to make sure that they are safe. And I think it speaks volumes for the type of clients we are serving, right? Banking clients are not easy to serve, and the compliance, you have to go through them to make to a bank client. It's not easy. So it shows you that there's a lot of trust in ProSpark. There's a lot of trust in the market about our product. So, of course, we are hosting our product on cloud. We use Amazon Web Services. So you still have your cloud security infrastructure in place. And also we provide you some advanced security measures on the platform side. We work with your company, we work with your organization, we work with your school to understand your requirements, your IT policies, and we're very open and frank to show you exactly how we handle data and where your data is being stored. If you want to access your data, you have access to it. We're very transparent in terms of what we are doing with your data and how we're handling it. So yeah, so to us, it's not a concern. as much in terms of, reselling your data to third parties and things like that. No, we are not Facebook.
Okay. And is that something that any HR director or any L&D professional needs to ask for in terms of the potential vendor that they would engage in? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think this question typically comes from the IT division, because when you're buying an LMS, you have the HR director, you have the L&D director, you have the IT, and the procurement. So the first three are your main core stakeholders, all right?
Okay.
L&D
all right.
The director and the IT. So typically, yes, IT will ask you those questions.
Okay. All right. Cool. I don't see any other question in the chat box, but perhaps Susan, have you come across any, or maybe some that was
covered it.
covered? Okay. All right. And Joma, have you seen any questions come your way? If you have, please.
Yeah, these are all the questions that came in the chat box.
Okay. All righty then. Okay, cool. So I know we are almost coming to the end of this session, but really I will not be doing justice to this session if I don't ask Alpha this question. So if just bear with us for maybe an extra 5 minutes or so, because I really want him to put perspective into this. It's really, really important. And this is about the journey of LMS adoption. Yeah. The reason I ask about this is because in most cases, if we are pressured by our stakeholders, our bosses, and investors and so forth, in terms of going forth with adopting an LMS solution for the company, let's be honest, we think it can be done in 2 weeks. Okay, plug and play, right? So could you, so in just a few minutes, because I think it's important for all of us to understand how long, generally how long we should expect to move from yay, we're going to go ahead with it, to yay, our users are happy with it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how does that journey look like, and how long should we anticipate in terms of being able to implement an LMS into our organizations?
Okay, my answer for that is what you put in the system is what you get out of it. Number one. That means that let your users, let your employees, let your students or your learners be the decision maker in choosing your LMS platform in the beginning. If you involve them early, the journey of adoption is going to be better, versus to force them system that they have never even had a voice or even had a chance to play with it. If you're a company, for example, with 1,000 employees, there is no reason you should not provide free trial or try free trial maybe with 50 users and maybe sample data and see what the insights look like. That's always very, very important. And we've seen companies that force things on people, disaster in adoption and disaster in learning, and they also suffer when it comes to skill sets. In terms of what that outlook looked like in terms of the journey of after launch, and you get to see that, of course, there's no magic answer to it. It all depends on the L&D structure that exists at the company level and how they're communicating messaging about this new program of learning they have, what type of content they have, right? Adoption is not just a platform. Adoption is a combination of the platform itself, engaging content. When I mean, content is another topic we can talk another day. Happy to talk about it, right? So, yeah. Content, if you're uploading 25,000 pages of a PDF, no one is going to look at that stuff. No one does it. I'm sorry, right? So engaging content, micro-learning modules allows people to drive adoption. So if you estimate for a timeline, I'll say realistically, be honest with you, 3 months, you start to see some interesting data in terms of course revisits, logging in, because the first thing people have to log in, right? They have to log in. If they don't log in, they don't know what's inside. Right? So your first 90 is to pass the login page, and then they need to visit a course, they need to take a course, and they need to come back and take more courses. That's the journey, right? Once they come back and take more courses, now they're going to come into social learning. They're now discussing and talking about different topics for people. So I would say at least 3 months, you start to see some interesting data insights. And for ProSpark, we estimate about 3 or 4 months, we start to provide you some course recommendation, learning journey recommendation via AI too. So it's enough time for us to really track your user analytics.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, because I think it's really important. So essentially what you're telling us is that, first of all, the first part is that we need to be able to determine what our users need and what gets them to what makes them tick in terms of learning and in terms of e-learning for that matter, and then that will feed into the scope of the kind of LMS that you will need, the how long it's going to take to develop it, and then once it has been implemented, or once you've hit the green button, then let's wait. We should tell everyone, hold your horses for at least 90 to 120 days before we can say that indeed there's either behavior change, there's impact, and all the other good stuff.
Absolutely.
That's okay? Absolutely. All right. So we shall use this recording to to defend ourselves.
Please don't hold me. Don't blame on me if something go bad. If you choose another vendor and things doesn't work, don't tell me I didn't tell you.
So this is the ProSpark version, okay? All right, cool. All right, then. Okay, cool. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Alpha, for coming on board. I know like I said, I know it's quite late, but I'm really, really appreciative, and on behalf of the Igniters community, I think this was really an enlightening, engaging, but also more so enlightening session. And I am actually quite confident that for those of us who have attended this session, and for those who are going to listen to the recording, at the very least, we're going to be able to identify I call it the black stone with the pointy fingers. And I think, guys, if you can just sign up for that free trial, you'll be able to understand what this black stone with pointy fingers looks like, and it will no longer be a black stone in a black hole. You'll be able to at least, hold your ground, have the confidence to have that LMS discussion with all the stakeholders. So thank you so very much. Thank you to everyone for joining this session. And I trust that it was helpful. And keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming, and tell us what else you want to learn. What else you want to learn about? Yeah, we are happy to chip in and do what is necessary to make sure that you're always on top of your game wherever you are. So thank you very much, everyone. And I'll call this session to an end. God bless everyone. Take care and good night.
Good night from Singapore. Thank you, guys. God bless you, Kenya, Africa. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you too. Take care. Bye-bye.